Here we are, guys, in part 6 of this story. In the Land of Waves, our favorite blonde encounters the Kyuubi. Watch the subsequent events unfold as Naruto uses the power that was sealed inside of him on the day of his birth. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share with your friends. Now, let's begin. Naruto and Kiba step to the floor. "Yeah, Akamaru. It's like we have already won," Kiba cheered. "Shut the hell up. And don't bring your puppy here. He'll only get in the way," Naruto responded. "Idiot, Akamaru's fighting with me," Kiba explained. Is that even allowed?" Naruto asked the proctor. "Yes, animals and insects are the same as ninja tools. They are allowed," Hayate explained. HMPH. "Fine, you need the help anyways," Naruto said. "Akamaru, you stay out of this. I can take Naruto on my own," Kiba said. "Naruto, don't lose to him," Sakura called out, returning the favor for him cheering for her. "Sorry Kakashi, but he can't beat Kiba," Kurama thought. "I feel bad for you, so I'll end it with one punch," Kiba said, remembering Naruto's failures back in the academy. "Ah, is that so? Then me too," Naruto responded. "Stop acting tough," Kiba said. "Yeah, this will be fun. I never was a fan of dogs anyways," Kurama told Naruto. "Wait, are you going to help me?" Naruto asked the fox. "Not physically. There are too many people here and you can beat him without me. I do know a trick or two that will help though. I'll tell you when the time is right." Naruto let out a little smirk. "Begin," Hayate announced. "Beast Mimicry Jutsu," Kiba called out as he began to grow claws and his appearance began slightly more canine in appearance. He charged at Naruto with unbelievable speed, sending Naruto flying back. "Proctor, he won't be opening his eyes for a little." Naruto, Ino and Choji thought from the stands. Choji had finally recovered from his battle with the Sound Ninja, although his hearing was still a little shaky. Sakura glanced over at Kakashi and Sasuke, who gave her a smile, reassuring her that Naruto wouldn't be defeated so easily. Both Sakura and Sasuke knew Naruto could easily beat Kiba if he tapped into the Kyuubi's chakra. However, with the Hokage and a bunch of high-ranking ninja present, only an idiot would do that. Though, in their eyes, Naruto was an idiot. "Kiba, never underestimate me," Naruto said, standing up. "Naruto," Sakura called out. Although she normally wouldn't be so enthusiastic about Naruto, she wanted her teammate to win, plus she owed him for helping her face Ino. As for Sasuke, he wanted Naruto to win so that he might get a chance to fight him in the final round. "Yosh, now that's the power of youth," Lee called out as Gai nodded in agreement. "Saying that as you bleed. I said to stop acting tough," Kiba shouted out. Akamaru just barked along with Kiba. "I'll let you hit me, to test your strength," Naruto said. "I'm going to need to teach him how to do that without getting beat to a bloody pulp," Kakashi said, thinking of Naruto's specialty jutsu. "You should stop acting tough too. Use your dog, I'll beat both of you," Naruto grinned, wiping the blood off his mouth. "GRR, you'll regret that. Let's go Akamaru," Kiba commanded as the two charged at Naruto. He threw a few smoke balls, making Naruto unable to see. As Naruto exited the cloud, Akamaru latched onto Naruto's arm. "Yeah, way to go Akamaru," Kiba said as he saw Akamaru sitting next to an unconscious Naruto. "Naruto?" Sakura called out. Akamaru returned to Kiba, but ended up biting his master's hand, surprising everyone. "Hey, Akamaru?" Kiba questioned, wondering why his best friend would suddenly do that to him. "GRR. You fell for it," Akamaru said, disappearing in a puff of smoke, revealing that Naruto had used a transformation jutsu. The unconscious Naruto stood up, holding an immobilized and whining Akamaru. "No. That can't be Naruto. He managed to combine a transformation jutsu and a shadow clone?" Shikamaru said, shocked at Naruto's surprisingly clever plan. HMPH, so you've gotten a little stronger. Well, that doesn't matter. Time to get serious now, Kiba said, tossing a food pill to Akamaru. Suddenly, Akamaru's fur turned red and became a bit wilder. The re-energized Akamaru kicked the shadow clone, dispelling it and freeing himself. Let's go, Akamaru. Beast clone Jutsu. Akamaru jumped onto Kiba's back and turned into a copy of Kiba. Their face had a feral appearance, similar to when Naruto was using Kyubi-chakra. Both of the Kibas charged at Naruto with great speed. Naruto was only just able to dodge it by jumping in the air. Now, fang over fang. Kiba called out as he and Akamaru spun rapidly towards Naruto. Naruto landed, coughing up a bit of blood in the process. That's the difference in our abilities, Kiba said. I can't lose here. I will become Hokage. Naruto exclaimed, forcing himself to his feet. Kiba laughed. You become Hokage? You're even weaker than me. If you want to become Hokage, then I'll become Hokage. Kiba mocked Naruto's dream. Big mistake. Now was time for Naruto to use his new jutsu. He flung a small amount of shuriken at Kiba, who just laughed at Naruto's desperation. Shuriken Shadow Clone Jutsu. Naruto called out as those few shuriken turned into nearly 100. Thanks to his speed, Kiba was able to dodge most of them, but he and Akamaru still got hit by a few. Fortunately for them, their wounds were only scratches. Where did he learn that? Asuma said, turning to a smiling Kakashi and Team 7. I might have showed them a thing or two, Kakashi replied. But that's an A-rank technique, Asuma replied. It may be, but not when you can already use shadow clones. Because Naruto could use the shadow clone jutsu, it was a C, maybe a low B rank in terms of difficulty to learn. Although he's still a long way from mastering it, as the Hokage can create roughly 1,000 shuriken clones, Kakashi explained. If he taught Naruto that technique, then I wonder what he taught the rest of his team, Asuma thought. Kit, the key to defeating dogs like this is to use their nose against them, Kurama explained, finally giving Naruto that advice he promised. Naruto knew what the fox was referring to and reached into his pouch to pull out 2 yellow smoke bombs. Please tell me those aren't. Kakashi thought, picking up on what Naruto was trying to hide. Kiba and Akamaru charged at Naruto, hoping to pay him back for those shuriken. As they got close, Naruto took a deep breath and threw the smoke balls on the ground. Gah! Screamed Kiba. Both he and Akamaru, who had transformed back, were clutching their noses. Everyone's sweat dropped in the stands as Kakashi just let out a slight laugh. They don't call him the #1 unpredictable ninja for nothing, Kakashi said. Both Sasuke and Shikamaru had to admit that what Naruto just did was rather effective. Given that he is a prankster, I've been wondering if Naruto carried any stink bombs on him. Right now, Kiba's sense of smell is 1000x more powerful than a human, Kurama thought, actually impressed at what Naruto had done. Kiba and Akamaru were both rolling in pain, as Naruto's stink bombs ravaged their super-sensitive sense of smell. Naruto created 2 shadow clones to restrain Akamaru this time. He then created 4 more to knock Kiba into the air. Uzumaki, the 4 clones called out as they sent Kiba into the air. The real Naruto then jumped above Kiba, kicking his head and slamming him into the ground. Barrage! Naruto called out. He took that move from Sasuke, single quote, Kakashi thought, looking over at Sasuke, who let out a smirk. Winner, Naruto Uzumaki. Hey, called out. Huh? Yeah, I won. Naruto started cheering. At that time, Hinata re-entered the room and saw Kiba lying on the ground and Naruto celebrating. She came to the conclusion that Naruto and Kiba just had a match and that Naruto had emerged victorious. While she was happy that Naruto had won, she was sad that Kiba lost. Upon seeing her re-enter the room, Naruto ran over to Hinata, hugging her and celebrating. This time she fainted, much to Naruto's confusion. Kurama came over and picked her up and carried her up to the balcony. Is she going to be okay, Kurama-sensei? Naruto asked. Yeah, she's just tired, that's all, Kurama responded, letting out a slight chuckle, as they proceeded back the stands. He still doesn't get it. Naruto. That was an excellent display of youth. Lee shouted. I only hope my match is next so I can show everyone my youthful powers. Guy looked at his student and gave Lee his nice guy pose, creeping out most of the people who saw that. Next match, Shinobi versus Fu of the Waterfall. Hayate announced. Darn, I'll never get to go, Lee said as his spirits deflated. No worries, Lee, you will get your chance, Guy said, reassuring his student. Alright Shino, go kick some butt. Naruto shouted out. No one could understand how Naruto had even more energy after fighting, but this was Naruto. Shino and Fu faced each other and the proctor announced to begin. Shino started by unleashing a few of his insects on Fu, testing out the waters of the battle. However, Fu's response was completely different than he had expected. BBB bugs? Fu said, putting Hinata's stuttering to shame. Yes bugs, Shino responded, almost insulted by Fu's calling his insects bugs. I am an Aburum and my family lives in symbiosis with these bugs. As Shino's insects crept closer, Fu backed away, almost as if she was afraid of them. Images began to flash through her mind, causing her to cower against the wall in fear. What's going on? Shikamaru asked, confused by Fu's reaction. It looks like she has a severe case of entomophobia, Kurama said. Entomophobia? Naruto asked, spelling out the word. Sakura sighed. It means fear of insects, you idiot, Sakura responded. Get them away from me. Fu called out as Shino's insects crept closer. Do you forfeit then? He asked. Fu, remember the task the elder gave to us? Fu's teammate called out. Her memories came to her. Flashback. For the past decade, our village has been seen as weak. The only reason we haven't been attacked is because of our secret location, a village elder said to Fu and her team. However, for the first time in years, we finally have ninja who are ready to compete in Konoha's Chunin exams. Please go and show that our village is still strong. We won't disappoint you, Shibaki-sama, the three waterfall ninja said, bowing to their leader. End flashback. Fu, realizing what she promised, decided that today was the day to get over her fears. She stood up and faced Shino, indicating that she would not surrender. However, it was too late as Shino's bugs swarmed her, sucking her chakra, and Fu's screams resumed. Fu's teammate looked on with sadness at what his teammate was enduring. Suddenly, Shino's insects were repelled with a violent blast of chakra and Fu was on the floor crying out in pain. To everyone's horror, red chakra began to bubble around her. Every high-ranking ninja rushed to her. I'm sorry, but I must do this for the safety of the ninja here, the Hokage said. Five-pronged seal, he said, slamming his fingers into Fu's stomach. The red chakra receded, but everyone's expressions did not. Fu dropped to the ground unconscious. Hokage-sama, Shino asked. What was that? Why did you interfere with my fight? It is something I cannot talk about right now, Shino. However, I declare you the victor of this match, the Hokage said. Just know that I had to do so for everyone's safety. Sakura and Sasuke turned their shocked expressions towards Naruto. Naruto? Are you alright? Sakura asked, seeing the same look in his eyes that they saw back in the forest when Naruto told them his little secret. Yeah, just shocked, that's all, Naruto said back to them. He then turned to Yugito, who shared the same expression of pain and sadness that Naruto had just displayed. Both of them looked up at Gaara, only to feel his desire to kill someone now. Whoever was matched up against him had better be ready for a fight to the death. Kurama? Naruto said to the fox. Yeah, I saw and felt it too, Kit. She's one of us. Based on the chakra cloak, I would assume that Komei, the Nanabi, is sealed within her. However, for some reason, that appears to have manifested into a strong fear of bugs, the demon fox replied. Shikamaru noticed that Naruto's expression was different from everyone else. Naruto, do you know what's going on? The lazy genius said. No, Naruto lied, not wanting to reveal everything right there in front of everyone. Shikamaru just shrugged it off, not wanting to put in the extra effort to question Naruto some more. Kakashi at the same time looked at Naruto and even some of the reactions from his team. He knows. And based on the rest of the team's reactions, I suspect they are aware as well. I wonder what happened, Kakashi thought, knowing he would have to talk to his team once this was over. Trying to move on, Heiei quickly announced the next match. Yugito Ni vs Takaru Rigito. Yugito and the remaining waterfall ninja stepped forward. Yugito took a look at Takaru, who was still shaken by the previous event. She knew the easy way to win this would be to let a bit of her demon chakra flare, as she and Anibi were on friendly terms with one another, but even Ibiki and Enko would see that as cruel. Begin. Heiei called out. Flaming Hellcats. Yugito said as she unleashed two tiger-sized flaming cats on her opponent. Sushin, Water Wave. The still shaking Takaru ninja called out, just getting the attack off in time, dousing the flaming cats. Despite being at an elemental disadvantage, Yugito could see her opponent faulting with his moves. All she had to do was keep the pressure up and he would eventually slip. After a few minutes of battering the waterfall ninja, Yugito unleashed her final attack. Fiery Claws. She said, swiping at her opponent with a flaming cat-like claw and sending him back against the wall with severe burns to his torso and arms. Winner, Yugito Ni. Heiei announced. Her team cheered and Team 7 even joined in a little. Lee, now it will be your turn for sure. Gai shouted. No. Lee replied, much to everyone's surprise. It's come this far, so I might as well go last. Everyone looked at the scoreboard in anticipation for the next match. Gaara disappeared in a whirl of sound, appearing on the floor. Get down here, he said, sending a death glare towards the Konoha ninja. Next match, Gaara vs Rock Lee. Heiei called out. Everyone, especially Team 7, was shocked at the matchup, and some of the other Konoha ninja saw their faces. Yosh. It fell for it. Lee exclaimed. If you don't want to go last, then say that you do want to go last. Gai sent him a thumb up as he saw Team 7's single quote's worried faces. Ha ha, do not worry. Lee will win this for sure, Gai said. Kakashi tapped Sasuke on the shoulder. Activate your Sharingan and watch the fight with that. Sasuke instantly knew why Kakashi wanted him to do that. Lee jumped down to face Gaara. To be able to face you this early. I could not be happier, Lee said. The cork in Gaara's gourd shot towards Lee, only to be caught. Now don't get antsy. Begin. Heiei announced. Lee, be careful, Gai thought, observing the match. Spinning leaf whirlwind. Lee shouted, launching a sweeping kick at Gaara's head. The sand around Gaara blocked it, much to Lee's surprise. The sand then lashed out at Lee, who flipped backwards to avoid it. Lee attacked again, only to be blocked by the sand. Kankuro arrived next to Naruto, having been released from the medics after his loss to the little leaf brat. Yeah, physical attacks are useless against Gaara. Regardless of Gaara's will, the sand acts on its own to protect Gaara. That's why, up until now, no one has ever been able to put a single scratch on him. Naruto was shocked upon hearing those words. Gai-sensei, why is Lee only using taijutsu attacks at close range? Sakura asked, observing the battle. Why doesn't he just use ninjutsu? It's not that he doesn't use ninjutsu, Gai explained. It's that he can't use ninjutsu. What? Team 7 said in unison. Although Sasuke was silent, his attention on Lee and the match. Lee has no skill for ninjutsu or genjutsu. In fact, he can't even conjure a single clone, Gai explained. But how did he get so far? Sakura asked. When I met him, he was a complete failure. The only techniques available to him were taijutsu. That's why he can win. Gai said, turning his attention to Lee. Lee. Take them off. But Gai-sensei, that's only for a time. I must protect my precious people, Lee said. It's alright. I'll allow it this once, Gai said. A smile quickly worked its way onto Lee's face as he sat down to reveal a set of training weights underneath his leg warmers. PFFT, there is no way some measly weights will make a difference against Gaara, Temari and Kankuro thought. Ah, much better. Now I can move free, Lee said, dropping the weights from the top of the statue in the room. Boom! Was heard when the weights made contact with the floor, creating large craters in the floor, startling everyone, and waking up poor Hinata. Everyone had to pick their jaws up off the floor. Isn't that a bit much, Gai? Kakashi said to the blue beast of Konoha. Yeah, Gai said, letting out a smile. Go Lee. Yes. Lee exclaimed, taking off with unimaginable speed. He appeared behind Gaara. Before anyone could see what was happening, everyone except Sasuke, who was following the fight with the Sharingan. Lee's attack was stopped just inches away from Gaara's head, closer than anyone had gotten before. He can't use ninjutsu or genjutsu, so we focused all his time and effort on taijutsu, Gai explained. Even if he can't do 9 or genjutsu, he won't lose to anyone. He's a taijutsu specialist. As Gai said that, Lee spun above Gaara, lashing out his foot and kicking the back of Gaara's head. Lee had just become the first person to land a blow on Gaara. Yeah, I warned you. Lee won't lose to anyone, Gai said. That kid is strong. Now we are just getting started, Lee said, facing his opponent. Lee disappeared again using his speed. He landed a series of blows to the sand wall around Gaara, confusing it until finally he made his move, throwing Gaara into the floor with his next punch. What? Lee said as sand began to peel away from Gaara's face. Suddenly a wave of killing intent shuddered throughout the room. Damn, ever since this Chunin exam started, Gaara's slowly been losing control, Kankuro thought to himself. This is getting bad, kid. I am even beginning to feel that damn raccoon trying to worm his way out, Kurama said. What? Naruto yelled inside his head. It's true, Naruto, the Nebi said, coming into his head. Naruto had not noticed Yugito come behind him. I can feel the bloodlust of that badger. Out of all of us, he was the most unstable. All he ever thought about was mindless killing. Unlike most of the tailed beasts, who tried to keep their distance from humans, the Ichibi would just waltz up to the nearest village and destroy it. I guess you could say the Ichibi is a true monster. Shit, this Gaara is awake, Kankuro thought. If he gets caught by this Gaara, there's going to be nothing left of him besides blood-soaked sand. What the hell is that? How did he block Bushibrow's attack with that? Naruto said, coming out of his quick conversation with the Nebi. It's the armor of the sand. A look of fear could be seen in his face by both Naruto and Yugito. Armor? Naruto asked. Yeah, it's a thin layer of sand that covers Gaara's body at his own will. It's different from the sand shield that acts on its own, Kankuro explained. That's Gaara's ultimate defense. There are no weaknesses. What do we do? Naruto asked his demonic counterpart. For now, hope your friend doesn't get himself killed, Kurama said. Only if that badger gets out of control will we step in. If worse comes to worse, the seal on Yugito and Matatabi has already been released and she can transform into her tailed beast. Transform? Into her tailed beast? Naruto said. Yes. For you, that is what happens when the chakra cloak you gain from me reaches 9 tails. You effectively turn into me. Although, since you and I are on friendly terms with one another, you will not die and you would be able to revert back to your own form at will, Kurama explained. That is the case with Yugito and I, the Neji said, creating a slight connection with Naruto so that she and Kurama could discuss the fight. You need to release that seal on you to complete your transformation beyond the chakra cloaks. However, my seal has been released already and the two of us work in conjunction with one another and she can even transform into my true form. If I can transform into you, then I really am a demon. Naruto began to cry, pointing at the fox. Ha ha. It's not like that, kid. I'm the demon. You're human. However, because you and I are on good terms, I won't take control and try to destroy you. That's what happened with the Nanabi, until the Hokage suppressed the chakra with that seal. The Nanabi was trying to escape and would have destroyed that girl's body and mind. You and Yugito on the other hand would retain your minds and be able to transform back into your original body. You follow? Kurama explained some more. Sort of, Naruto said. That's good enough for now. Just remember that I am the demon and you are human. We are separate entities, but we work together, lending each other our powers. The same is true for Yugito, but not for the Sand Kid and that waterfall girl. If their beasts broke free, they would be dead and the demons inside them would go on a rampage. If Gaara is forced to use the armor, then that means he is in a defensive pinch as it actually takes up chakra, Kankuro said to himself. That means that kid is actually pretty good. Is that all? Gaara asked Lee. What? If that sand is protecting him, then I must do some damage above the sand's reach. Lee thought, coming up with a risky idea. The lotus. Lee looked up at Gai-sensei and got a nod of approval. He unwrapped the bandages on his arms. The lotus smashes down at high rates of speed, Gai said, catching everyone's attention. That thin layer of sand is useless. Lee then began to dart around Gaara at high speeds, creating a vortex-like effect. Suddenly, Gaara was kicked into the air, his altitude increasing with each of Lee's subsequent blows. Gaara's ascension was too fast for the sand and Gaara soon broke away from it. Lee then wrapped his bandages around Gaara and began the downward spiral at an extremely high velocity. Even the primary lotus puts an extreme strain on the body. All of those kicks are extra dangerous as well, Gai worried. Please let it end with this. Primary lotus. Lee shouted as the vortex collided with the ground, leaving a large crater with Gaara lying in the middle. Lee had disengaged at just the right time and was standing, facing the crater. However, he was severely fatigued from the assault. Lee won. Sakura shouted. What? Both Gai and Lee said as they saw Gaara's body crumble away, leaving a hollow shell of sand. When did he switch? Gai said. It was when you closed your eyes to pray, Gai. Lee hesitated for a moment because of the pain and that's when he switched, Kakashi explained, catching it with his Sharingan. Heh? This is turning out to be fun, Gaara said sinisterly. I am going to enjoy killing you. The demon inside Gaara has finally awakened, Kankuro thought. Lee was thrown back into the wall by a wave of sand. He was barely standing after recovering himself. Why didn't he dodge it? Sakura asked. The primary lotus is a double-edged sword. It's a forbidden technique that puts massive amounts of strain on the user's body and legs, Gai said. Right now, he's feeling so much pain that he can barely move, right Gai? Kakashi asked as Gai nodded. Lee, don't forget, you're a genius of hard work. Gai called out as Lee remembered his days just out of the academy. Thank you, Gai-sensei, Lee said, before a wave of sand fell on top of him. Lee moved out of the way. With that, I am revived. Lee is smiling even though he's getting pushed around. Sakura asked. If anyone was as much into this battle as Gai, it was Sakura. No, now the tables will turn, Gai said, confusing Sakura a little. The lotus of the leaf blooms twice. You were finished here, Gaara said to Lee. This will end now, Lee proclaimed. The lotus of the leaf blooms twice. Kakashi thought on Gai's words. Wait. No. You don't mean? Yes, Kakashi, I do, Gai replied as everyone wanted to know what they were talking about. Then the 8 inner gates? Kakashi asked. Yes, he will open them, Gai said. He has the ability. Even so, such a dangerous technique. Kakashi tried to argue. The extreme lotus. Gai said. That kid has a precious thing he wants to prove. So I turned him into a man that could accomplish it. How many gates can the kid open? Kakashi asked. 5, Gai said, astonishing Kakashi. Wait, what are these gates? Sakura said. Unlike everyone else, who was focused on the fight, Sakura had managed to get caught in between Gai and Kakashi's conversation. Sakura, the chakra coils of the body flow through 8 inner gates that limit the flow of chakra through the body. They are the gates of opening, healing, life, pain, limit, view, wonder, and finally death, in that order, Kakashi explained. The lotus forcibly releases these restraints. It increases your power tenfold, but destroys the body in the process. The initial lotus is done by opening the first gate. You release your brain's restraints with the first gate. Then you use the second gate to revitalize your stamina. After opening the third gate, you enter into the ultimate lotus, Gai explained. No way, the initial lotus does so much damage, does that mean? Sakura asked. Sakura, after opening all the gates, for a short period of time, you will gain more strength than the Hokage, but you will most certainly die afterwards. Neji, Sasuke, and even Naruto, I will not lose here, Lee thought. Third gate, Gate of Life open, Lee said as power began to surge out from him. Lee's skin turned red and his eyes turned white as everyone was now paying 150% attention to the fight. Fourth gate, Gate of Pain open. Fifth gate, Gate of Limit open. Kakashi, what is this? Sasuke stammered out. The power of the 8 inner gates, Kakashi told his student. Sasuke, just know that this power is considered forbidden for a reason. Before Gaara even knew what was hitting him, he was hit multiple times, in the air, in rapid succession. His sand armor was being ripped off him by Lee's assault. Neji, this technique was going to be for defeating you. But I will show it here and now. Gaara was thrown into the floor, sending a massive shockwave echoing throughout the building. Some of the people present were afraid the arena was even going to collapse. With his bandages still wrapped around Gaara, Lee reeled him in for one more blow. This is it. Extreme Lotus. Gaara was slammed into the ground just as the pain became too much for Lee. No way. The ground turned to sand. Gai said, utterly shocked that Gaara had survived that. The sand crept close to Lee, who couldn't move. It wrapped around Lee's left arm and leg. Gaara clenches his fist as Shino and Hinata saw the horror that was about to come. Desert coffin. The sand surrounding Lee's arm and leg imploded, crushing them. Now, die. Gaara called out as more sand made its way to Lee. Suddenly, Gai jumped in the way, dispersing the sand. Why? Why did you save him? Gaara said, clutching his head as everyone looked onto Lee, saddened by the damage he had received. Some of them knew that Lee's career as a shinobi was most likely over. Because, he is my beloved student and comrade, Gai responded. Gaara got up and walked away, obviously in internal strife with the demon inside him. Winner, Gaara Hayate announced. To everyone's disbelief, Lee stood up, unconscious and with a crushed arm and leg, not to mention having opened the 5 of the 8 gates. Gai turned to Lee. Lee, you shouldn't be standing. The fight is over, I'm sorry, Gai said, realizing that Lee was actually unconscious. Lee. You really have become a spectacular ninja, Gai cried as Lee collapsed into his sensei's arms. Naruto and Sakura both rushed to Lee's side. Naruto sent a look of death, even managing to let a little of Kurama's chakra slip out, giving him the demonic eyes for just a moment. However, it was long enough for Gaara to get Naruto's message. "Medical team, please get here quick," Hayate called as the stretchers were brought. "Here's Jonin, instructor. Please come here for a second," one of the Med-9s said to Gai. There were torn muscles and broken bones throughout his entire body. "We could do something about that if that wasn't the only problem. The damage sustained by his left arm and leg are severe. I'm sorry to say this, but he will never be able to live as a shinobi again." To say everyone who heard that was shocked to the core would be an understatement. Even inside Naruto, Kurama was beginning to release his anger. For the demon, that was probably the most entertaining battle he had seen in a long time, and he was truly rooting for Lee. What really enraged the fox was the fate that Gaara had left him with. The next time he and the Ichibi met, heads and tails would be flying. No. It just can't be possible. It can't be over for bushy brows. Naruto started to tear up. If that's so, then what is he supposed to do? He wanted to fight against Sasuke and Neji to prove himself. Can't you do anything about it? Kakashi was doing everything he could to restrain the screaming boy as the medics carried Lee away. To say everyone was shocked to the core by that match would be an understatement. Neji just looked at Lee. "You never realized it, Lee. The heavens will never allow a pawn who puts their own body at risk to advance," he thought. With most of the field trying to regroup, the last two matches were getting underway. Only Temari, Neji, and Omoi and Karui of Kuma remained. Next match, Neji Hyuga vs Karui. "Yeah, Hyuga. This should be interesting," Karui said quietly. Neji and Karui stepped forward to face each other. Well. I haven't seen Hyuga in a while. Tell me, are they still so protective of their Byakugan? Or have they loosened up after realizing their mistake? What mistake are you talking about? Neji asked, curious as to how she seemed to be involved in some matter regarding the Hyuga. "Begin," Hayate announced, afraid another match would start off with a long discussion. Karui drew her sword as Neji slipped into his gentle fist stance. Karui swiped at Neji, only for him to parry it and retaliate with his own attack, which Karui dodged. "Yeah, so I guess you really do want to know," Karui said, analyzing Neji's previous attack. "Think back, almost 9 years. To the day that we came to your village to accept a peace treaty." Neji's eyes widened. Even in the stance, he nodded heard this and was slightly affected. "What are you talking about?" Neji replied. "You don't know. On that night, you damn Hyuga killed my father because of their damn paranoia about someone stealing their Byakugan," Karui shouted. Neji soon let his shock leave him as he became more focused. "Oh, this is going to get good," Kurama said to Naruto. "What are you talking about? You can't sense that boy's killing intent? Well, I guess not, since it is being directed at that girl." "Wait, why would Neji want to kill that Kumo ninja?" Naruto asked. "I don't know. Just watch and maybe you'll find out." Karui felt Neji's killing intent and shuddered a little. What is this?" she said. "That night, that your father was killed," Neji said angrily. "You demanded the head of the Hyuga clan. However, the person who was killed by your father's action was my father. Your father is just as responsible for my father's death as the head family is." "What?" Naruto said up in the stands. Hey Hinata. You're a Hyuga, what are they talking about?" Hinata sighed, hoping that this would not come up with the presence of Kumo ninja. 9 years ago, when I had just turned 3, that was the same day that Kumo had come to Konoha to sign a treaty to end the war that they had been fighting for years. That night, well, Hinata said, they kidnapped me. My father killed the kidnapper and the Cloud Ninja demanded my father's life or they would renew the war. Neji heard Hinata and directed some of his killing intent towards her as well. Naruto could feel it now. Gaara had been feeling it ever since the match begun, and his hunger for death grew even more, especially after being denied Lee. Like I said, the head family decided to use my father instead, because he and Hinata's father were identical twins, born only minutes apart, Neji said, emphasizing the head family with a hint of anger mixed in. However, fate has smiled upon me today. While I am not able to kill the men responsible for my father's death, one of their daughters has been chosen to face me, and so I shall begin my revenge. Sasuke muttered, everyone now turning to him. I know how he feels, as I am the same way. He wants to kill those responsible for his father's death, the same way I want to kill Itachi for killing my clan. Sasuke had the same type of anger and rage mixed into his voice that Neji had. What are you talking about, you little punk? Karui shouted to Neji. You damn Hokage killed my father. They may have, but your father made the first move in trying to kidnap a member of the main family, Neji scoffed. If it wasn't for your village's actions, my father would still be alive, and you would not be destined to die at my hands today. Why, you little? Karui charged at Neji out of rage. Surprisingly, Neji was keeping his calm, despite the conversation that had just taken place. Karui drew her sword, ready to impale Neji for his insolence. Kaiten! Neji called out, sending her flying back into the wall. That was. Hinata said, shocked at the move Neji had just used. What was that? Ino said, as everyone was also stupefied by Neji's defense. It's the Kaiten, the heavenly spin. It's a Hokage technique that has belonged to the main family, Hinata said. Wow. Does that mean you can use it, Hinata? Naruto said excitedly. And no. My father has not even tried to teach it to me yet, Hinata replied. It's because she is a failure, Neji said, stopping his rotation. Shut up, Neji. Naruto shouted, trying to defend Hinata. No one asked you. I'm just telling the truth, Neji said, facing Karui, who had just been slammed into the wall, leaving a nice impact crater next to the one Lee had made in the previous match. Neji charged in, seeing the opening. He landed a few attacks on Karui's arms and legs as they went numb, and she fell to her knees. What is up with those attacks? Naruto said. It's like Neji only touched her and she is already down. It's the gentle fist style, Hinata said. Like Guy in the last match, and Lee and Hinata's match, she had found herself as the commentator for this match. All eyes were now on her as she began to turn red and back away. Gentle fist? Sakura asked. Why, yes. It's the style of taijutsu passed down in the Hokage clan, Hinata explained, taking a deep breath to calm her down. We inject our own chakra into an opponent's chakra coils. Unlike the taijutsu style that Lee and I use, the Iron Fist, which focuses on dealing external damage and breaking bones, the Gentle Fist focuses on using chakra to attack and destroy an opponent's inner chakra coils, Guy said. Returning to the fight as the medics would not allow him to go with Lee. It may not look impressive, but you'll definitely feel it afterwards. What do you mean by inner chakra coils? Sakura asked. Like veins that carry blood, chakra coils carry chakra throughout your body. These chakra coils are directly integrated into your body's internal organs, such as the heart and brain, Guy explained further. Wait, how can the Hokage even do that? Sakura asked. It's not like you can see the inner coils of the body. With normal eyes. And no, Hinata said. Everyone had apparently forgotten about their resident Hokage in the stands, as she had managed to pull a Shino and disappear from everyone's attention when Guy took over. But I can see them with a Byakugan. Everyone looked at Hinata's eyes and noticed the swollen veins around them and the outline of her pupil. Wow. Really? Naruto exclaimed. You really are amazing. Hinata blushed deeply at this. The gentle fist is different than normal attacks in that you release chakra from your palms and inject it directly into your opponent's body, damaging their inner coils, Kakashi explained. Realizing that it was now going to be difficult for a bright red Hinata to say anything cohesively. Throughout the chakra network, there are 361 pressure points, or tenketsu, that control the flow of chakra throughout the body. By injecting chakra into these tenketsu, the gentle fist allows the Hyuga to temporarily halt the flow of chakra through that point. Because of that, they possess the potential to cut off chakra from parts of your body, making it useless for their opponent to use or mold chakra in certain parts of the body. Am I right, Hinata? Hinata nodded and focused her Byakugan on Karui, who was still being beaten by Neji. He was going to enjoy this opportunity and prolong it as much as possible. I'd look out like as she has no more chakra flowing into both her arms and legs. What? Wow. Naruto said. Hey kid, Kurama said from inside him, catching the blonde's attention. What is it? I'm trying to watch the fight, Naruto said to his resident demon. Sometime soon, get together with that little vixen you've been talking to. I want to try out something that may allow you to reopen blocked chakra points, Kurama said. Vixen? Naruto asked, confused at Kurama's terminology. Yes, vixen. A female mate. I want you to get together with that Hyuga girl and train with her once or twice as I want to test something out. Mate? Naruto shouted, practically fainting inside his head. Udge. You're so dense. At times I wonder why I got stuck with you. Back in the arena, Neji made a series of strikes, this time hitting Karui directly in the chest as Hinata cringed a little. What is it, Hinata? Sakura said. Those last strike hit her heart and the chakra network around it, Hinata stuttered out. What? Then that means he really does mean to kill her? Sakura said. Neji backed away, analyzing the damage done. Karui fell forward onto her hands and knees, coughing up a lot of blood. Soon after, she collapsed. Winner, Neji Hyuga. Hey, said, checking the damage done to Karui. Neji looked up into the stands, sending a rather evil grin towards Hinata, making her step back and fall. Get a medic in here quick. She's going into cardiac arrest. Most of the genin in the stands shuddered at the call from the proctor. A few medics came in and began initial treatment, before taking her away for further attempts at stabilizing her. Neji walked back up the stairs, sending another look to a shaking Hinata. Stop that, Neji! Naruto shouted. Why must you pick on Hinata like that? What has she done to you? It's not what she did, it's what her father did, Neji said, sending the same look to her that he did to Karui before beating her to death. Neji, enough. Gai said, apologizing to Kurne and Hinata for his student's behavior. Neji just turned and walked away. Most likely, Gai had just saved Hinata from a rogue strike to her chest as well. For the final match, will the remaining two contestants please take the floor? Hey, announced. Temari and Omoi stepped forward. To say the match was quick and one-sided would be an understatement. Wanting to end it quickly, Temari opened her fan to the third star and hit Omoi with her Futon, Wind Scythe Jutsu. Omoi was unconscious before he even had a chance to attack. Alright, now that the matches are over, will the contestants who have advanced please step forward? Hey, announced as the Jonin. Instructors and the Hokage returned to the stage, which had been half destroyed thanks to Lee's weights. The following finalists took the floor. Out of the 200 that started the exam, only 11 had made it to the third round. This was still more than Enko had anticipated, but it was better than the 22 that remained before the preliminary. Congratulations on making it to the third round, the Hokage announced. I guess it is time to start explaining the third round. Orochimaru-sama, Kabuto said, appearing before Orochimaru. The prelims have ended and the third round is set to begin in 1 month. Good. I look forward to those matches, especially Sasuke's. The snake grinned. Orochimaru-sama, regarding Sasuke. Kabuto asked. It appears as if you were going to give his the curse mark, but he had no mark. Did Konoha find a way to remove it? No, Orochimaru hissed. My plans hit an unexpected bump, and Sasuke never received my gift. However, it is only a minor setback and I will have my hands on him soon enough. As I said before, the matches of the main event will be seen by everyone, the Hokage announced. Each of you will fight to represent the strengths of your country and I would like you to fight with all your reserves. That is why the final event will be held a month from now. What? We are not going to do it now? Naruto asked. No. You could say I'm giving you a month for preparations. Unlike today's battles, where you face an unknown opponent, you will know your opponents and you will be given time to prepare accordingly, the Hokage explained. Use this month to rest and train accordingly. I'd like to dismiss you now, but first we must decide the matchups for the next round. What the hell is it? Naruto shouted impatiently. I've got to train for the next round. Inside this box are numbers, Enko explained. Now, each of you will take a number and this will determine the matchups for the next round. Enko passed the box around and everyone selected their numbers. Alright, now read off in order your numbers and I will make the bracket, Ibiki explained. 1. Neji said. 2. Naruto said. The Hinata said. 4. Shino read off. 5. Haku read. 6. Yugito said. 7. Sasuke said. 8. Gaara read, glaring over at Sasuke, who returned the look. 9. Temari said. 10. Shikamaru yawned. 11. Dosa said. Ibiki thought for a second after writing the numbers and made up the bracket. Here are the first matches: Neji Hyuga vs Naruto Uzumaki, Hinata Hyuga vs Shino, Hakuyuki vs Yugito, Sasuke Uchiha vs Gaara, Shikamaru Nara vs Dosu, and Temari will face the winner of the last match. As you can see, there are 3 separate brackets, with each one having its own winner. The final match will consist of all 3 victors facing off in a 3-way match to determine the overall winner. Sasuke was definitely satisfied with his matchup. A month of nothing but training would give him plenty of time to become stronger. Naruto was finally going to be able to pay Neji back for insulting Hinata and maybe even do something about that stick lodged up his ass. Being on the same team, Hinata and Shino quickly made an agreement to respect each other and not hold back in their coming fight. Haku and Yugito were both neutral about their match. They really had nothing to truly prove besides their own abilities. Shikamaru just saw everything as troublesome, Temari was indifferent, and Dosu wanted to prove to Orochimaru that he wasn't a guinea pig. You are all dismissed now, unless you have any questions, the Hokage announced. I have one, Shikamaru said. Since this is a tournament and there is only one winner, does that mean only one person will be promoted to Chunin? No. Throughout the tournament, there will be judges judging your abilities. It is possible to become a Chunin even if you lose your first match. Likewise, there is a chance that the victor could remain a Genin, the Hokage explained. So, there is a possibility that everyone here will become a Chunin? Temari asked. Yes, the Hokage responded. Although, think of it this way. The more matched you fight, the more chances you have to convince the judges that you have the skills to become Chunin. Thank you all for your efforts in the second exam. You are all dismissed until 1 month from now. Alright, back in the village. Naruto said, arriving at the village after the teams were escorted out of the forest. Teams 7, 8, and 10 were working together. Who wants to get ramen? Geez, is that all you ever think about? Sakura said. Although she heard her stomach growling and figured so real food for the first time in 5 days would be nice. I have a better idea, Asuma suggests. How about barbecue? Chaoji quickly became excited. Why don't we enjoy this night together to celebrate the 6 of you who have moved on to the 3rd round, before you all begin your training tomorrow? Everyone liked the idea, except Naruto, who still had ramen on the brain. And they quickly found themselves at the favorite restaurant of Team 10. Afterwards, the Rookie 9 and Haku went their separate ways. Hinata ended up back at the Hokage compound, and thankfully for her, Neji wasn't anywhere in sight. "Hinata, I heard you made it into the finals," Hiyashi said, appearing from their home. "Why yes, father. I have," Hinata said, giving a quick bow to her father and hoping for some sort of acknowledgement. "Very well, be in the dojo tomorrow no later than 8 a.m. "We begin your training," Hiyashi said in an emotionless tone. This was not the sort of acknowledgement that she had hoped to receive from her father. However, the fact that he was going to train her for the finals had to mean something. Naruto was up early the next morning getting the ramen that he never got last night from Ichiraku. Kakashi then walked inside. Hey, Kakashi-sensei, I have a request." "No need to tell me, I already know what you're going to ask," Kakashi said. "I already found someone to supervise your training." "What?" Naruto shouted, waking half the still asleep village. "But I want you." "I'm sorry, Naruto," Kakashi apologized. "But I have more important things I need to take care of." "HMPH, you're just planning to train Sasuke," Naruto said, seeing right through Kakashi. Now, don't say it like that. Besides, I've found you a much more reliable teacher," Kakashi explained. "Yeah? Like who?" Naruto questioned. "Me," a new man said, coming onto the scene. "It's you," Naruto shouted and pointed at the man. "The closet perv." "Baisa-sensei's a closet perv?" Kakashi questioned Naruto's last comment. "Why the hell does he have to be my teacher? He's weaker than me in the first place," Naruto explained. "I beat this guy before with my harem jutsu." Suddenly, Baisa covered Naruto's mouth to prevent any more words from coming out. "Harem jutsu?" Kakashi asked, now seriously confused. "It's nothing, really," Baisa said, trying to dispel any suspicion. He turned to Naruto. "I'll treat you to all-you-can-eat ramen later on. You better," Naruto responded. "Why do I have a bad feeling about this?" Kurama said as Naruto agreed with the demon. "Haku," Zabuza said, appearing at Haku's apartment. "Yes, Zabuza-sama," Haku responded to his former master. "So you made it to the Chunin exams, not bad," Zabuza said. "Although you don't really need it, I'll be supervising your training over the next few weeks. I feel like some of these kids are going to be a real handful." "Yes, I would much appreciate that," Haku said politely. With that, Haku had his teacher for the next few weeks. "Good, you're here," Hiyashi said, entering the dojo to find Hinata already there. "Let's begin, shall we?" "What are we doing, father?" Hinata asked. "We are beginning your training. I can't have you embarrassing the Hokage main branch in front of some very important individuals," Hiyashi said, depressing Hinata with his comment. "We need to work on your speed and accuracy, plus we need to strengthen your Byakugan so that you can effectively see Tenketsu in battle." "Yes, father. Where are we starting then?" Hinata asked. "First, you are not to deactivate your Byakugan during these training sessions for any reason. This will help initially to strengthen it. We will begin working on your accuracy and then your speed. Finally, we will incorporate those with your Byakugan. Just so you know, I expect you to be able to use our family's signature stance for the finals." Hinata knew what this meant. He would be hammering the 8 trigrams stance into her head these next few weeks. Shikamaru woke up, after his alarm had been going off for the past 3 hours. It really was a troublesome instrument that he had to deal with each morning. "I'm surprised you're up this early, Shikaku," Shikamaru's father said to him. "Usually you sleep in an extra hour or two." Well, you know, Asuma-sensei wants me to train for the upcoming match, Shikamaru explained. It really is troublesome. So my opponent is Hinata, Shino thought, meeting his father outside the courtyard of their house. We both know each other's moves rather well, so it will come up to whoever puts in the most work over these next 4 weeks. Son, are you okay with this? I mean, she is your teammate, asked Shibiki, Shino's father. I am. We promised each other that we would work hard these next weeks and fight our hardest when our match came. To be honest, I am looking forward to it, Shino said, letting out more words than he usually does. Kakashi was climbing a rather high cliff, with one hand tied behind his back. He knew he shouldn't have accepted Gai's challenge. Suddenly, his feet slipped and he barely caught himself from falling. Seeing the top, he knew he was almost there. Gate of opening, open. Kakashi said, giving himself a boost of energy and reaching the top. Oh, you're here already. No, you're just late, as usual, Sasuke said, standing opposite him atop the towering plateau. Right then, let's get started, Kakashi said. I'm sure you remember Lee's taijutsu from using your Sharingan? I do, but what does that have to do with this? Asked Sasuke. Well, Lee had the right idea. You will need an extreme amount of speed if you are to defeat Gaara, and to learn what I am going to teach you. Go on, said Sasuke. You know, the reason I want to train you is that, Kakashi said, handing Sasuke a piece of paper. Sasuke knew what this paper was. It was chakra litmus paper, used to determine the elemental affinity of ninja. Kakashi channeled chakra into his and it crinkled. Sasuke did the same and received the same result. You are the same type as me. Kakashi formed the Chidori in his hand and Sasuke let out a smile. This was going to be interesting. That's it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and follow me on my other social media accounts. Anime God here, and I'm signing off.